Nowadays, NASCAR opens its season with the Clash at the LA Coliseum. But what if I were to tell you that this wasn't the first time NASCAR has run its opening races on a temporary short track? What if I were to tell you that they did the very same thing at Daytona nonetheless? This is the story of the 2013 and 2014 NASCAR Battle of the Beach. Before we can get into more detail about the Battle of the Beach, we have to go over the preemptive events that outline the Daytona exhibitions. From 2003 to 2011, a race called the Toyota All-Star Showdown ran at the Irwindale Speedway. The event was a highlight of the schedules for the series that ran there. Joey Logano became one of the most notable drivers to win the event. And moving into the 2010s, this short track showdown was absent in 2012. It was at this point that NASCAR saw an opportunity to use the old backstretch grandstands at Daytona. A 4/10 mile short track was constructed on the paved runoff off of Turn 2. And with only the need of a makeshift flag stand and some tire bundles to make sure cars couldn't spin across the infield to other sides of the track, it became incredibly cost effective. The event was set for 2 nights, the Monday and Tuesday after Daytona 500 qualifying. Provisionals and invites to the event followed the same guidelines as the races at Irwindale. If you had won a race or championship in any of the NASCAR Top Weekly Touring Series, you qualified for the event. The same applied for anyone attempting the modified feature of the event as well. Invites were also sent out to any champion drivers of the top divisions in Canada, Europe, and Mexico, being allowed to run any of the races for the 2 nights. The first night in 2013 was qualifying, along with the first race of the event, an all-star race for NASCAR's weekly series. The first qualifying heat for the All-American race was won by Kyle Larson, and Heat 2 was won by Ben Rhodes. The field for this race featured a wild and varied cast. The youngest driver was 14 in Kaz Grala, and the oldest 63. The first race took the green flag for 150 laps, and overall was a classic short track fight. The final 10 laps, however, went into complete anarchy. Kyle Larson had chased down the number 40 of C.E. Falk. Larson had sustained moderate damage from earlier in the race, and Falk didn't believe he would be able to move him. Until, if this is no in post, whatever clip I was trying to use, it for some reason has corrupted with Sony Vegas, so it does not work. I have tried to re-download it. I have no clue what's wrong with it, but I cannot show what I'm trying to explain here. So, I guess I'll put, if I can find it in the other race broadcast, I'll put it up on the screen. But this is what Larson did. He pretty much just dumped C.E. Falk and won, and it was really controversial. Yeah. Back to the video. After that controversial finish, it set the tone for the second night. 33 Modifieds kicked off night 2, with again another 150 lap race. This feature was much more caution filled, and eventually Todd Szegedy and Mike Stefanik got to the front with Kyle Larson behind them. It was at around this point that the first flip of the Battle of the Beach occurred.
Hop on over! Danny Bone! Oh my goodness! Danny Bone's car caught a wheel, climbed the side of the front stretch wall, and you see he is trying to climb out.
After the first flip in the history of the Battle of the Beach events, a red flag plagued the race. At under 30 to go, Szegedy has a mechanical problem and is taken out of the race. He had led every lap up to that point, and now that he's gone, chaos is about to ensue for the final 20 laps. Stefanik, Goodale, and Larson all lead the field. Stefanik overdrives it, and Larson is under Mike as they race side by side. Another caution comes out soon, and during that yellow, Bob Dillner makes his very fascinating report on Larson's move from the previous night.
Very interesting scenario right now with Mike Stefanik and Kyle Larson 1-2 on the racetrack. On Race Hub today, I spoke to Mike Stefanik about this race and about even what he saw last night in the late model race. Remember, Kyle Larson getting into the back of C.E. Falk, turning him around on the final corner. I said, what if that were the case here tonight and you had a chance to race with Kyle Larson? He said, if he got into the back of me, I would find a way to take him with me, because he thought what Kyle Larson did last night was completely wrong. Kyle Larson, a great show here tonight, but Mike Stefanik certainly had that on his mind earlier today.
With that information, it's 14 to go, and those two drivers will be restarting side by side. Mike clears through 1 and 2 and starts pulling away. The 58 of Goodale starts pressuring Larson as they pass under 10 to go. Caution comes out again for a stalled car. Now it's going to be a shootout. Stefanik, Larson, Goodale, Pitcat, and 5 laps.
5 laps to go when they cross the line. Green flag, and Larson doesn't go.
Yeah, he tried to go.
Oh, no! Around goes the 79, and we're back under caution.
Now Larson is out of it, and it's going to be a green-white checkered finish. The front five have shuffled. It's now Stefanik, Goodale, and Steve Park, along with Doug Coby. 2 laps and $20,000 for a go at victory. They go back green and Mike clears as Steve Park moves to second. As they come around to the white flag, Park gets closer.
Steve Park, almost a spin in 3. Everybody recovers, keeps going, except Pit Cat's dragging somebody.
But we've taken the white flag now. The leader has the white flag. Stefanik's around.
No, Steve Park and Stefanik get together, and here comes Park. Former Modified Tour runner-up in the Sheba Racing Sunoco number 8. Steve Park is going to be first to the checkered flag. They're spinning in turn 3. And another controversial finish for the second night in a row, and a last lap dust-up. To finish this one, it's Mike Stefanik driving for Chris Sauer that ends up stopped in turn number 3 instead of going to victory lane.
Even though Park dumped them, the 58 of Goodale punted Park through him as well. In the end, it doesn't matter who really did it, because NASCAR Hall of Famer Mike Stefanik is pissed.
Well, Bob, I'm back in the pit area. Mike Stefanik has just jumped out of his number 22, and Mike, 2 nights in a row, the guy who leads the white flag doesn't get the win. Steve Park said that he got hit from the driver behind him and pushed him into you, and he said it was just one of those racing deals.
Yeah, right. I don't want to say anything because I'm just going to say the wrong thing here. I am that freaking pissed. It's just bullshit.
Mike Stefanik certainly very upset. The last lap, second time in the 2 nights where the guy who led the white flag did not get the checkered.
Steve Park grabs the replica trophy of the same one Fonny Flock won on the beach course in 1954, and now it's time for the final event, the K&N race. 28 cars and another 150 laps. This race is much cleaner than the other 2, and it goes till about 25 to go when dominant car Greg Pursley has this happen to him.
Coming out of turn number 4 for the restart on the inside, it's Greg Pursley. And it looks like Pursley another good start. Conley comes to the inside. Conley hard into the inside. He's going to get into the 26 and turn him around. Cale Conley turns the leader, Greg Pursley, around through 1 and 2.
On the next restart, Cale Conley makes his move mean nothing and misses a shift. He loses all the track position he gained, and Michael Self and Greg Gaulding establish himself in the lead late now. Everything stays restrained until Pursley catches Conley with 4 to go. Cameron Haley eventually works between them and separates the 2. And just when Michael Self thinks he has it won, a caution. It's going to be yet another green-white checkered finish. Conley this time was dumped by DJ Kennington, the representative of the Canadian Championship. With that, it's 2 laps now, and the calmest race is about to get absolutely bizarre.
Out of turn 4, green flag in the air. Michael Self, Greg Gaulding, 1 and 2. Derek Thorne on the inside. They're trying to make it 3 wide, coming out of turn number 2.
Brian Ortiz misses the corner completely.
Greg Gaulding.
Some big blocks.
Look to the inside. Here comes Thorne for the final turn. As they come through 3 and 4, white flag goes in the air. One more time around.
Nice job by Greg Gaulding to hold on to second.
That was the boot.
And in the back, 21. The 20 of Greg Gaulding. They pile up. The white flag has already been shown. And Greg Gaulding working his way down the backstretch. Coming through 3 and 4.
Oh, he overdrove the corner. Can he make the corner?
Here comes the 24 on the inside. Cameron Haley. Greg Gaulding. Haley's going to get the checkered flag.
What a race. That was crazy.
Cameron Haley wins after Greg Gaulding did everything but the last corner to lose it to him. Overall, the 2013 edition was considered a massive success, and it warranted a return for 2014. The 2014 K&N race wasn't as eventful, having Daniel Suarez win somewhat handily, and Doug Coby would grab the 2014 modified race after skillfully defending from a bump and run. The Battle at the Beach races were fairly well received. The first year was a little caution prone, but overall, across the 2 years, they held as good side events for speed weeks. In 2015 though, the races were essentially wiped permanently, as during the 2015 Daytona Rising renovations, the backstretch grandstands, which served as the only seating for the event, was torn down permanently. The possibility to run these races is still out there though. Whilst no permanent seating is on the backstretch, the cost to set this event up, I would imagine, is incredibly low still. The only thing that would warrant any construction would be putting backup grandstands. When these races were run, it appeared the racing and appeal was there. Sadly though, there is no bleachers. As the memories of this event continue to weaken, it'll become more and more likely that it'll never return. And if so, at least it gave us great moments. And it gave a national spotlight to America's short track drivers.